Hello, chat. Yes, happy Easter if anyone celebrates here. I don't know. I don't know what people do these days, but you know. Hello, Asterisk. Hello, Darius. Hello, Jacob. Bartol. Chronopunk. Oscars. JC. Fitz. Hello. You running ReZero fanfics? No. Speaking of Zorbus, I'm pretty sure, in the Phase 4 video there, you will hear Zorbus at least a couple times, because he was going apeshit during some of the recording process at some point. So, you guys can look forward to that. Oh shit, I forgot to post in Discord, hang on. How far is the Phase 4 video going? I had to kind of stop working on it a little bit to do the Globe video to have something out this Sunday. But... And... if you guys are here and you're not familiar with the contents of Arc 7, now's your time to duck out, but currently the Phase 4 video is up to the point of, I think it was immediately after Subaru gets annihilated. No. It was, I think when he starts getting fucked up by the Sheep Boy, I think. I don't remember. It's been a few days since I opened that Premiere project, to be honest. But it will be worked on more. It's just, like I said, I had to work on something else. After Phase 4, you'll be what, halfway through Arc 7? Yeah. I mean, I've already read Phase 5, so it's just the Phase 4 video isn't out yet. You just finished Arc 5, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why you're here either. Hello, Zach the Mask. Hope you enjoyed Arc 5 though, it's good. Dude, someone in my Discord is posting screenshots from the Arc 4 manga. Holy shit, man. Arc 4 manga looks sick. Your comments are coming up. The YouTube Streamlabs thing is kind of bugged. It doesn't go up on the screen super often. It does occasionally, but yeah. You'll see it at some point. The video with the ReZero world was really good. Nice work, thank you. It's my magnum opus in terms of my contribution to the ReZero fandom. I contributed the globe, but now I will wait. Sit back and observe. Not everything needs a reaction. Zorbus the goat? True. He is currently laying on the bed, sleeping. And so, because the bot hasn't said it yet, I'm gonna reiterate for those who are not familiar with my content or my ReZero streams. If you are not sure if I have read the content, just don't talk about it. It's pretty much as simple as that. I've read up to Arc 7 Phase 5. Is your ranking for the phases still going down with each one, or has it risen again? Phase 5 is my second favorite. Phase 5 was very, very good. Top is waiting for the Japanese translation to make the theory real. That's so true. Do you think Arc 5 manga will come out? It's going to be as good as Arc 4 manga? It really depends on the artist. Arc 4 artists put their whole fucking pussy into that shit, dude. How many episodes do you think Season 3 will need to properly cover Arc 5 and 6? I mean, I guess it depends on how you define properly. I'm expecting 48 episodes, probably. What's the schedule for today? We are reading Stand By Me Pleiades, and then after that, who knows? The side story takes place before Arc 7? I'm pretty sure this takes place during. Have you paid your taxes yet? I paid them the very day I was able to, so yes. Never read this side story, this will be fun. Apparently a lot of people haven't. There's a few people in my Discord who were like, oh man, can't wait for you to read this so I can read it for the first time. The Missing Child Search series that got retconned. Yeah, I remember at some point Glennie told me to stop reading that, and I guess it was because it got retconned. Huh? Have you seen my drawing on bootleg PLW comment? Oh yeah, I did, yeah. You haven't read ReZero at all? Well, have fun, I guess, in the stream. How many side stories does Arc 7 have? Too many. Approximately a shit ton. And you have to read, like, 1 to 3, like, every fucking volume. But we move. Yeah, he wrote too much shit for this arc. Have to? I mean, okay. So... You don't have to read side stories for Arc 7, right? You don't have to. But you're just straight up getting more or less like a shittier experience. Like all of the stuff in Phase 3 with Al and Olbart, if you didn't read EX5, then you're just kind of just getting like a worse version of it. When will Phase 4 analysis be released? Hopefully this Sunday, but and by this Sunday I mean next week. But I don't know for sure. It's more rewarding, yeah. You're just getting like a worse experience if you haven't read the side stories. How many total phases are in Arc 7? Isn't it 7 or 8? I think it's 8, right? It's 8 phases. So my biggest criticism with the arc, there's way too much in side stories that would add to the main story in Arc 7. Yeah. I've not been the biggest fan of mandatory side content. If you guys remember, me talking about that a while ago. I've also talked about it for My Hero Academia. Because a very primary character's entire backstory was shoved into a spin-off manga. And the only way you could understand what the fuck was happening was if you read that spin-off volume. However, it's not as bad in ReZero. As the chat finally answering a question all with the same answer, yeah, it's huge. Season 3, let's go. Yeah, I'm excited for Season 3. Little, what's the word? Apprehensive about doing Arc 5 and 6 in one season, but I mean, if they really want to. I think the scariest part about Season 3 is how they initially wanted to release in October of this year. That's crazy to me. It's good that it's likely not the same anymore, but that is an insane thing to shoot for with 5 and 6 in one season. Where you at Arc 7 right now? I finished Phase 5 the other day. I'm just happy that anime onlys are going to be experiencing more of the story. Yeah, hopefully the important shit don't get cut out. Apparently it's having two studios working together. I mean, a lot of anime are produced like that these days, so I wouldn't be surprised. What do you think we'll get more news about Season 3 if there's a MF Summer Festival this year? Where you got that October release info? Ice. I do wonder how you go about adapting Arc 7. I have also wondered how you would adapt Arc 7 because I have no fucking idea. Because, like, if you're, imagine you're an anime only, watching Season 4, right? And half of the arc is just, like, doing flashbacks to show you shit that was inside material. Oh my god, that would be so ass. I don't know how you do it. You need to make a lot of OVAs, bro. Them dropping Goblin Slayer gives me hope that they're putting out all the stops for this adaptation. Yeah, hopefully. What do you think of Arc 7? Okay. Here's my apparently burning hot take, okay? Arc 7 is very good. Yeah, they wouldn't know who Balrog or Chisha is. Yeah, it's funny. How do you feel about Vincent? He's great. I've enjoyed him a lot. Priscilla Camp as OVAs would be fired. Yeah, I don't know how, I'm not exactly sure how you tackle Al as a character. Like, I don't know how you tackle Al as a character, because, like, one, considering that, his entire character from Season 1 is eradicated. And secondly, a lot of his character is put into side stories, so I don't know exactly how you do that. Like, the entire, not the explanation for his power, but, like, the entire, the primary sources for his power are in side stories. And if you only read the main story, all you know is that he has, you can reasonably infer that he has some looping power, right? How long is Arc 7? You said Phase 4 was halfway earlier, I think? Yeah, it's 8 phases. I think it's like 110 chapters, but then you have to include the B chapters, so I think it's like, what is it, 115 or something? Some silly number. It's a lot of chapters. It's 116, okay, close enough. Wilhelm's backstory was side content, was incorporated perfectly into the whale fight. I mean, I'm an anime only, so maybe I'm wrong, but didn't they not even get, like, they didn't get most of that. There's a lot more that's not there. Hello, Lewis. But just the stuff with Teresia, yeah, that's what I figured. There's a lot of Wilhelm's backstory that's not included. Like, I really think Stride is very important. Priscilla is my second favorite female in ReZero. Interesting. I don't know why you would phrase it like that. See how long this is. It's not too bad. Brief thoughts on Arc 7, Chapter 54. I'm not very good at remembering things by chapter count. Let me look at which one that was. Hang on. Utopia of Chaos Flame. Oh, is that the one where the disaster starts? Yeah, it was gas. I read up to Phase 5 without any knowledge of that stuff, but afterwards it changed so much how I think about Arc 7. Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of context. Thoughts on Vincent so far? He's gas. He's fucking awesome, dude. I enjoy it pretty much every time he's on screen. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. Arc 7's cast is fantastic so far. Vincent was great. I mean, if you count... I count Vincent as an Arc 7 character. I know he's in side stories and shit, but he's gas. Todd is incredible. Jamal is a character in ReZero starting life in another world from zero. Tarita is great. Yorna is great. Olbart's cool. But Arc 7 is bad and it stopped selling despite still being among the top selling light novels. I have heard that there's been a sales decline. However, of course, rather, you can't necessarily correlate, like there's no correlation between sales count and objective quality, so that's funny. Who do you think is the weakest written character of the cast? Like, in general? That's a hard question to answer. Opinions on the 10-second loop and how it differs from previous deaths in the series? The 10-second loop is very good. The 10-second loop, served as a good way to show... Let me think. So, the 10-second loop is different in that, in almost every other loop, right? Subaru is, like, killing himself to save other people. And in the 10-second loop, he is thinking of other people to not kill himself, in a way, if that makes sense. I also tweet out the stream if you haven't. The return on viewership from actually tweeting out streams is horrendously low, so I just don't even bother. Not that often anymore anyways. Sometimes I do. If I had more ReZero followers on Twitter, it'd be worth it, but at this point it's not. Disrespected Jamal? Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I need to get ReZero clout. What are your thoughts on Kid Baro? Dude, very good. I really like it. I'll touch more on it in my Phase 4 video, hopefully next Sunday. But for me personally, the idea of Kid Subaru is very clear. And at least thus far, obviously I'm not done with the arc yet. Thus far, it is executed well. You're stuck with the MHA fans that will tell you don't get it. Yeah. You get used to it, though. I have finally blocked enough MHA fans that when I tweeted out that I gave the final war a 2.5, I don't think anybody really got on my dick about it, so... Making progress. Thoughts on Rui? I don't see the vision, personally. Like, the only coherent thought that I've been able to put together about her is, like... I don't know. Like, maybe because she saw Subaru's memories, she knew that Satella would come out, so she fucking wiped her brain like a hard drive. I don't know. I remember when you first described Jamal, thought he would be a brute or at least a big guy. Yeah. Him and Zakir are two characters I did not expect to look like that. Thoughts on Yorna? Great. I really liked Yorna. I wanted to say that Luis is supposed to be pronounced Louis, like Louis Vuitton, not like Luis. Well, too late now. I'm doubling down. Do not disrespect Vikir Osmond. Yeah, my bad. My bad. You read Sword Identity? I'll be reading it eventually. I have been told repeatedly that I probably don't need to adapt it into a video, so I probably won't. Unless I find it very, very, very pertinent. But I'll probably just read it on my own time and talk about it in the Discord. The goat Zakir is what Mineta should have been? Okay. Unironically, respect Zakir, please. Who is your favorite Divine General and why? I'm thinking of the Divine General cast, and I mean... they're cool. But... definitely not Cecilia, let's put it that way. It's probably Yorna. Arakia is kind of mid. Chisha seems cool. Madeline is okay. She is a character in ReZero. Obart's cool. He's probably like a second for me. Cecilius can be the #1 Divine General if the way we rate Divine Generals is how much they job. That'd be cool. Wait, Kid Subaru? Wait, what's going... Bro is completely lost. Who's a character you're disappointed in right now? What about Balroy? Dead. Character I'm disappointed in? I guess you can argue... Luis, I'm trying to think, and I'm kind of blinking on Arc 7 here. I feel like I feel like there's an answer, but I don't remember. I don't remember if there's another answer. Oh shit. Which do you like better so far, Amnesia Baru or Kid Baru? I mean, on one hand, I've seen the conclusion of Amnesia Baru, so I don't think it's kind of hard to compare, you know what I mean? Considering this is kind of like meta knowledge, but considering that Arc 8 is supposed to basically be Arc 7 still, I'm imagining that Kid Subaru is not getting concluded in Arc 7 either, so... I think Anastasia's pretty disappointing. Yeah, Anastasia in Arc 6. I mean, she wasn't bad. Just a little underwhelming. You know what's mildly irritating? And I'm only talking about this now because I just got a reply to it on on Reddit. People who are so certain that two characters cannot share the same symbolism. Like, I was talking about how Reinhardt is representative of the moon, and people were like, no, it's Amelia, no, it's Atella. It's like, dude, it's literally both. Like, come on, dude, it's not that fucking hard. Would you be okay with Subaru never getting returned to his normal age? Probably not, no. I think that would be very fucking lame. But, depends on execution, I guess. You're a Redditor? I responded to a Reddit thread because people were saying that my interpretation was wrong. That's like saying every single character named after a star isn't representative of a star. Too complex. And it's like, I supported my idea of why Reinhardt was connected with the moon. And all I get in response is, no. Based on your current knowledge, what are your predictions for the remaining phases? We're going to war, boys. I imagine shit is about to go down. I mean, Ryan literally goes to the moon. Not only does he literally go to the moon, but he is regularly pictured alongside it. Should be used to that response from the MJ videos? Yeah, I know. I kind of want Vincent to die that Subaru becomes Emperor. We're good. We're good off that. Bro can barely handle being a knight for a candidate that's going fucking last place. He is not gonna be a... He is not gonna be an Emperor. Thoughts on Aldebago? Oh my god, dude. Al is peak. Genuinely. What are your thoughts on Arc 7 so far? I think it's fantastic. I obviously don't think it's perfect, which, you know... People who watch... Not only people who watch my phase reviews, but also people who are in my live blog understand that. But, I mean... I didn't think Arc 6 was perfect either, and I still loved that shit. From what... So, okay. You guys have to understand, right? When I was getting into Arc 7, or like ReZero in general actually, all I heard about Arc 7 is how dog shit it is. And then I started reading Arc 7, and then I read Phase 1 and I was like, okay, I mean it's the start of the arc, right? I'm sure I'll see people's complaints soon. And then I read the second phase, and I was like, okay, it's not perfect, but you know, it's pretty good. And then I read Phase 3, and then I was like, okay, guys, when does it get bad? And then I read Phase 4, and then I was like, guys, when does it get bad? And then now I've read Phase 5, and I'm like, guys, when does it get bad? The tarot cards are sick, and I will make a video on them when they're all out. How do you think that the arc will end? I don't know. Especially now that apparently Arc 8 is just Arc 7 too. So, I don't know. Now, I also have the benefit of reading the series, like, in one big chunk, kind of. I don't read as fast as some people do because I have to make videos every phase, but, like, I do have the benefit of being able to read it all, you know what I mean? Do you think Arc 7 could surpass Arc 6? On the trajectory it's currently going? Probably not. I noticed a very lack of Bubba because Bubba is hard stuck Arc 5. It helps you gotta analyze it for your videos, makes you understand it more, I'd say. Yeah, maybe. There were times when Arc 7 chapters were coming out every day. I mean, yeah, but... I'm assuming that's not the norm. But yes, Arc 7, good. Quite enjoy. And I know this is probably an anime-only issue because I haven't read Arc 3 yet, but... I don't know, Arc 3 is kind of quaking right now. I think Arc 8 could potentially pass Arc 6. Yeah, I've heard that apparently people are very excited for Arc 8, so... I'm excited to get there. Respect Arc 3. I'm an anime only, bro. Sorry. How do you think they're gonna handle Satella? I don't know, big rock. Arc 7-8 has the potential to surpass Arc 5? Does he know that it's already done that? It's already surpassed Arc 5? Do you think Arc 4 or 6 is better? I have them about equal, and I assume that if I read Arc 4, it would be better than Arc 6. What do you feel about Todd? He's fucking amazing. Incredible antagonist. I'm just waiting for when we will get back to Slice of Life. Does he know? Will Arc 12 top Arc 6? Yeah, probably. I hope so. It would take us a year to finish Arc 4, though. I'm not gonna make videos on Arc 4. It's not gonna take me a year. I read Phase 1 of Arc 4 in, like, a few days. Before I started Arc 5. Who's your favorite antagonist so far from the whole series? If we're not including Roswell, then Stride. Stride is fucking peak. Rosgo, true. Okay. It's already been half an hour. We should probably read. We should probably read Stand By Me. Thoughts on the Valachian Empire? It's a very, very... Okay, look. If we're rating the nations by interest, Wallachia is definitely number 1. Maybe Gusteko number 2. And Lagunica... I don't know. Beyond that, to be honest. Karagi and Lagunica may be a toss-up. Do you think we'll visit the other countries in remaining arcs? I hope we get something on Gusteko. Why Gusteko number 2? I don't know, it's interesting as hell. They got a... Isn't Karagi just like Japan? Yeah, kinda. But at least it has some... It's got that going for it. Let's read Stand By Me Pleiades. It's time. Have you read the If stories? Nope. Subaru Natsuki had disappeared from the Pleiades watchtower. In short, that was what the letter sent to the mansion said. Pausing for just a moment, Roswell L. Mathers rested a finger on his pointed chin and closed his heterochromatic eyes. Your handwriting has certainly seen such improvement, Lady Amelia. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, there was this moment in Phase 5 when I was reading that unironically irritated me about Amelia, okay? It was the scene where she didn't know what a divine general was. And all I could think was, like, you've been studying for, like, over a year to become the ruler of a nation, and you don't know the basics of foreign policy to know what a fucking divine general is. And now she's getting complimented on her fucking handwriting. What the fuck is this? My goat. Felt clears, yeah. That's like Canada not knowing the US military. It's like, I mean, I guess, yeah. I guess you could say it. It's like Russia not knowing the fucking US military. He read the letter and muttered a leisurely remark contrary to the dire circumstances it described. The writer of the letter was Amelia, whom Roswell was backing in the royal selection to make— Oh, thanks, I didn't know. This is another thing that irritates me about some of these ReZero stories. Is like, oh, wow, thank you, I had no fucking clue who these people were. I appreciate it. When Roswell met Amelia for the first time in the forest, she was living all alone with a spirit who was her only family, and she knew nothing of the manners and general knowledge of the outside world. It took a great deal of effort to bring her up to scratch. Just teaching her how to read and write, along with the bare minimum of education, took a considerable amount of time. However, Amelia was honest and driven, so she continued to grow in many ways. Of course, she had a lot of room for improvement, but he was happy to see her growth as her teacher. If it wasn't for the royal selection coming up in the near future, it would have been entertaining to further explore her full potential. In any case, it seems like now is not the time to be talking about such leisurely things, Roswaal muttered, pinching the edge of the letter with a sigh. Currently, Amelia was traveling with companions to the Augria sand dunes east of the kingdom in order to reach the Pleiades watchtower where the sage lived. Shala, the sage, lol, who lived in the watchtower, was rumored to have knowledge of the entire land, but crossing the sand dunes was difficult, to the point where even the Sword Saint had failed to find passage through the desert. If Subarunoski wasn't there, Roswaal would never have approved the journey. Subarunoski was Roswaal's trump card. He wasn't the person that Roswaal could trust the most. Subaru would reject that line of thought, and it wasn't true to begin with. Subaru was someone who Roswaal could trust the most when it came to his objective. For Roswaal's ultimate goal, Emilia becoming ruler was a necessity, and Subarunoski's existence would turn that necessity into an absolute. Because of that firm belief, Roswaal had allowed Emilia to journey to the Augria sand dunes. As long as Subaru was there, Emilia's safety and the safety of her companions was assured. And in fact, the letter had stated that all of her other companions were safe, but the issue mentioned at the beginning still existed. Lady Emilia has been separated from Subaru. This should be considered an unforeseen situation. Roswaal knew that Subarunoski's authority could bring forth the best case outcome. With that in mind, the current situation indicated that they might come across a problem, and a roadblock to Roswaal's goal. This must be corrected, no matter the price. He's so raw, dude. He's so cool. His way forward decided, Roswaal squinted for a moment and opened the window of his office. His tall, lithe figure swiftly leapt out the window, letting his cape flutter about him as he landed in the mansion's front garden. Bro read a letter and he was like, I have to take care of this, and he jumped out the fucking window, dude. Holy shit. The office was on the top floor of the building, but the drop posed no risk to the softly landing figure. However, there were others who weren't pleased with this type of behavior. Master, what are you doing? It is ill-mannered to jump out of a window like that. Frederica. The man who had the maid who had spotted Roswaal jumping down and ran over was Frederica. Her long blonde hair fluttered as her emerald green eyes flashed with anger. What? She replied in displeasure to her name being called. I'm not listening to any excuses. If Petra had spotted you, then you'd be getting even more of an earful than from me, so you have to... A carrier bird from Lady Emilia arrived. It's an emergency. Begin preparations. Frederica stopped and inhaled sharply at Roswaal's words, but she was an ideal maid nevertheless, so she immediately corrected her posture. Understood. What are you going to do, Master? Currently, I need someone who can move fast. I will be requiring Clint's assistance, so I'm moving to Anna Rose's place. I'll return in 3 hours. Understood. I will let Petra know. For a moment, Frederica, looking displeased upon hearing Clint's name, but her personal feelings weren't important right now. Frederica and Clint are both competent individuals, and I want them to work together well if possible, but they have a complicated relationship. Don't care. But as far as Roswaal knew, they had been close when she was little. Don't care. The situation is as seen here. If it's true, then there is much that must be done. Think carefully and prepare accordingly. Roswaal ordered before handing Amelia's letter to Frederica and turning his back to her. Frederica was capable enough to know what to do once she read the letter. Roswaal just had to lay down the foundations of his plan without cutting corners. I'll be going then. We'll meet up later, said Roswaal before lightly kicking off the ground and flying up into the air. There he goes. It was flying magic, a combination of wind, earth, and yang magic mixed together into a practical form, yet fairly difficult to replicate. It could reach speeds similar to a migratory bird and was faster than using an earth dragon. I was asked not to use it outside of emergencies by an old friend in the royal palace, but this is definitely an emergency now, Roswaal said in an unexpectedly serious tone as he cut through the blue sky. And so, left behind in the mansion's front garden, Sister Frederica. What was that, Master? Was that the Master flying off just now? Amidst the swaying grass caught up in the downwash, a small girl in a maid's dress, Petra, came scuttering into the garden. At Petra's query, Frederica, who was bowing, took the letter from her master, straightened her posture, and replied, yes, before continuing. It was an emergency, so he is heading towards Lady Anna Rose's mansion. He said that he required Clint's help. Clint, that's so sudden. That means. Frowning, Petra was questioning Roswaal's actions, when her doe eyes suddenly went wide upon seeing the letter in Frederica's hand. Smiling awkwardly at Petra's quick observation, Frederica opened the letter. A letter from Lady Amelia. It arrived by carrier bird a moment ago. I knew it. I had a feeling something was approaching from the sky, so... You felt something approaching from the sky? Petra clapped her hands with joy, but Frederica was more surprised at her statement. Carrier birds were a method to send letters over a long distance, and the birds required special raising and training methods, in order to make sure that the letter would be received by the correct person, and that the letter could not be intercepted or lost in flight. It was standard practice to conceal their presence in profiles with magic seals. It was a method first suggested by Roswell's grandmother, who was head of the house 2 generations ago and became a standard method of communication in the kingdom after it was established over 30 years ago. And that's why Roswell is hashtag that guy and also hashtag that girl at the same time. Of course, due to the cost of raising the birds, the survival rate of carving the magic seals as well as the other reasons, it wasn't widely available to the common person yet, but that wasn't where the problem lied. The important part was that it was a form of communication used by those who held important positions in the kingdom, such as Roswell, so letters sent to him should not be so easy to track. But Petra was able to instinctively sense the carrier bird's arrival. Julia instant howl gives spam true! I know that she has been learning magic under the master this past year, but even so. Frederica was aware that Petra was a fast learner, even with her work, but despite that, it appeared that she had underestimated Petra's potential. One could say she possessed a talent that heaven only granted to a select few. Oh shit, man. What the fuck, dude? Petra's got that dog on her? Oh, damn. Sister Frederica, what did Lady Amelia say? Oh, right. The master was quite serious about this. The master? Serious? Frederica could find no words to placate Petra's doubt. Unfortunately, the suspicion towards Roswell in Petra's mind was difficult to erase. Frederica thought that only natural, and Roswell seemed fine with it. But regardless, Roswell had hurried off toward Clint, leaving Frederica in charge of preparations, so there was no doubt of the situation's seriousness. Readying herself, Frederica turned her eyes towards the letter. So, are Subaru and Sister Amelia okay? Petra asked, trying to sneak a look at Frederica's face as she went silent. The last letter they had received from Amelia was right before they had entered the Agria sand dunes. It had stated that they were going to enter the desert from the town closest to it. Petra's curiosity at any letter describing the things that had happened after that was natural. However, how do I explain this to Petra? Frederica was well aware of Petra's feelings for Subaru. Knowing that the letter was the cause of Roswell's urgency was enough to make Frederica find herself at a loss for words. Damn. Petra got that dog in her, bro. What does that mean? Alright, so Subaru's gone. We already know that one. They're looking for Subaru. We already know that one. Roswell jumped out of a window. We didn't know that one, and it's cool. Petra has that dog in her. And Roswell is going to Clint because apparently he can travel large distances very fast. Is that what it was? I might have forgotten already. But I think that's what it was. Got it. While Frederica was struggling to explain the contents of the letter to Petra, Roswell, who had just arrived at his destination, was received with cold eyes and forced to provide his reasons. As always, your visits are so sudden, Uncle. I am well aware of my rudeness, but it is an emergency. Please forgive me. It'd be more troubling for you to arrive on my balcony if it wasn't an emergency. She sighed as Roswell landed on the balcony outside the study and leaned against the handrail. However, to have such a reaction to someone suddenly flying in was proof enough of the owner of the mansion's upbringing and mental fortitude, a girl only 9 years of age. In response to Roswell's unspoken admiration, the girl raised an eyebrow at him. I'm not 9 years old, I'm 10 years old now, don't get that wrong. Huge? She's 10 now? Oh, I didn't say anything. Your eyes gave it away. Could you please be more proper? People accept your appearance and your attitude because they believe that at least your mind is normal. Huh. Interesting. Oh my, quite harsh coming from you. Roswell smiled wryly at the banter of Anna Rose Millode. Small girl shrugging her thin shoulders, it was pleasing to see such growth from her. He knew of no other girl at her age that could act so noble. And as if to prove such an impression, Anna Rose continued, "So what is it? It was urgent enough for you to fly here. Do you need something from me? Or is it from Clint? Or perhaps from both of us?" "Very perceptive. Am I so easy to read?" "Yes, you are. You always choose the most expedient method, Uncle. You're always afraid of roundabout ways or indirect methods failing." "Interesting." "That's quite harsh to say. Indeed, I require the assistance of you and Clint." It was miserable to be at the receiving end, but Roswell figured that not talking back would be the best way to keep the damage to a minimum. In the first place, he couldn't see an outcome where he was going to win an argument against Anna Rose. Bro getting out-debated by a 10-year-old? Huge. Due to the circumstances of her birth and her parents, Anna Rose was Roswell's Achilles heel. His weakness was that he had a lot more weakness than the others believed him to have. And so, ignoring Roswell's self-evaluation, Anna Rose closed her eyes. "Clint, come here. You're here already, aren't you?" "Yes, it is as you say. Well noticed." A voice responded to her call, and then the door of the study opened slowly. The man who appeared quietly had a thin face with a monocle and gave a sharp impression. This man, with his neatly worn butler uniform, was Clint, chief steward of House Malode, and the person Roswell was seeking out along with Anna Rose. "You were eavesdropping, weren't you?" she asked. "Then you don't need me to fill you in on the situation at hand." "Forgive my rudeness, I apologize. You did it because you knew that it was Uncle, right? I won't scold you for that, Uncle." Kindly forgiving the servant who was bowing to her, Anna Rose called to Roswell, beckoning with her hand at the balcony where he stood. "How long do you intend to stand outside? Hurry and state your business. Despite appearances, I do not have time to idly stand around and chat with you." "I thought it prudent to wait for the owner's permission." Smiling, Roswell entered the study under Anna Rose's sharp glare, and so, without the need for long-winded explanations, he entered into the heart of the matter, and that was, a letter from Amelia arrived, apparently due to things concerning Subaru. "It is necessary to travel towards the Empire. I wish for your help in dealing with my family's issue." "Emily and Subaru Natsuki?" Anna Rose muttered thoughtfully, frowning. For the upcoming royal selection, Anna Rose's House Malode was a crucial supporter for Amelia. Due to their close relationship with House Mathers, she had been informed of Amelia's journey, and of course, she had probably guessed that the current problem was related to the Pleiades watchtower. She called Amelia by a pet name and had complicated feelings about Amelia's knight Subaru, but Anna Rose had the ability to know what to prioritize and make the correct decisions. I was just wondering, a thing from Arc 5, was anything discussed about the symbolism of Reinhardt saying if it would have been a problem if I didn't land on the moon? I've seen a few people delve deeper into that statement. However, I think the most basic interpretation is that he meant it quite literally because he was able to land on the moon and then jump off. But I have seen people look deeper into it, and I think there's cool potential there. Meaning, while you are out, you want us to manage House Mathers, correct? Yes, that is what I wish. I don't have other people I can rely on. Wait, is Roswell going to Valikia? Oh, shit. That'd be so fucking hype, dude. You can stop with the pleasantries. Are you going to leave someone behind? I was thinking either Ram or Frederica. It's actually quite complicated. The issue appears to not only be with Subaru, but also with Rem. Shaking his head, Roswell thought back to the contents of the letter. It had only been touched on briefly, but the letter also mentioned that Subaru wasn't the only one who had been separated. Rem had been as well. The reason why Ram accompanied them on their journey was to find a way to get her sister, Rem, out of her coma. Though to Roswell, that was only a minor issue compared to Subaru's disappearance. Having fallen victim to gluttony, Rem had disappeared from everyone's memory, Roswell's included. However, Rem's place in Roswell's current plans was unknown. At worst, she could disappear and there wouldn't be a problem, but that line of thinking was unnatural. As long as she was a part of the mansion with Ram, she must have had some sort of role. As to what that was, Roswell had a guess, and if Ram found out, she could never forgive him. I understand, Uncle. Oh, sorry, there's like a... Oh my god. Something keeps getting caught in my throat. Jesus Christ. For now, I will take care of your house. Please ensure that Frederica prepares for Clint too. Anna Rose tried to continue the conversation while Roswell was trapped in thought, and so as her words drifted off, she looked up at Clint with her almond-shaped eyes. Taking in the gaze of his mistress, he bowed respectfully and spoke up. "If I may speak? Question. What would you have me do, my lord?" "There is another problem regarding Subaru," replied Roswell. "We cannot allow Beatrice to be separated from him for a long period of time. Our time is limited." There it is. 5 phases in, there's still been nothing on mana poisoning, so I'm glad it's being referenced again. Mr. Subaru and Mrs. Beatrice's spirit contract, time limitations and restrictions. Roswell nodded bitterly at the quick understanding of both the mistress and the butler. Subaru and Beatrice were contractor and spirit, but the two were codependent and covering for each other's shortcomings. Subaru had lost his gate, and with it, the ability to release mana built up in the body. Beatrice's shortcoming was that she could only support herself with mana from her contractor. It was a mutually beneficial relationship, allowing the excess mana, with nowhere else to go, to support the existence of the spirit. The two of them would argue against it being a relationship built on self-interest. But as long as the result was the same, there was no need for debate. The problem was that such an ideal agreement could be easily destroyed. If Subaru and Beatrice were to become separated, they could both easily fall together. If this goes on for too long, Subaru will die from mana buildup, Roswell explained. And without any other means to replenish her mana, Beatrice will disappear as well. And that would be terrible for you, my lord, and for me, complete loss. Right, I can't afford to lose a card as valuable as Subaru. I apologize, I was referring to Miss Beatrice, apologies. Roswell put on a sour face at Clint's hollow apology. Putting a stop to the two of them, Anna Rose spoke up. Anyway, I understand your situation, Uncle, and so, what do you want to do? As I mentioned before, I believe I'll be heading to the Empire. Let's fucking go, dude. The situation is quite delicate, so I will need to travel to many places, and for that, I would like to use Clint's power. That's only possible within the kingdom, replied Anna Rose. Nodding at Anna Rose, who had lowered her tone of voice, Roswell turned towards Clint for confirmation. Of course, I'm aware. Can I ask you this favor, Clint? In response, Clint rested his hand on his chest. If your lordship wishes, and if Lady Anna Rose agrees, no problem. However... You require compensation, correct? Yes, I'm well aware of that too. Roswell replied, showing minor displeasure at Clint's pretentious response. It couldn't be helped, but paying compensation came with an immense pain that made you feel as if a part of your body was being cut off. And if asked, Clint would most likely respond that if it didn't, then there'd be no point. 4 magics is what I'll provide in compensation, and so I wish to use your authority. Authority? Wait, what? What is he talking about? 4 magics? What the fuck is he talking about? Okay. Okay. What the fuck? Gyro was casual about it? It's an authority. How are you casual about it? Authority is a very loaded term. Like... I don't know how you're... What? Magics is magic stones? Okay. What the fuck? It's not magic stones? Oh, I got lied to by chat again? Okay. 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 You'll be able to gather what it's like. Okay, I figured, yeah. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, it comes with immense pain. Okay. 4, oh my, quite a bold decision. How daring. To be frugal and fail is the biggest mistake one can make. Closing one eye, Roswell stared at Clint with his yellow eye. There was little time, not only for this issue in front of him, but for all the choices that would determine the outcome of his desire. Roswell had no room for failure from now onwards. He would not have the luxury of waiting for the next chance. First things first, I need you to go meet with Lady Amelia's group. Be sure not to let them find out about your authority or the compensation? Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Understood, Lady Anna Rose. Shall I? Confirmation. If that's what Uncle has decided, then I have no objections. This is for Emily's sake as well. Anna Rose closed her eye and nodded in confirmation that the decision that would normally be too much for one age. Accepting that, Clint bent over deeply at the waist. Maybe they mean authority like power or command? Authority is a very particular term in ReZero. At the next moment, he disappeared from the room. He quite literally disappeared. He wasn't hiding, nor did he become invisible. Most likely he had arrived at the town closest to the Augury of Sand Dunes, Marula. If he wanted to, he could probably reach the Pleiades watchtower. He said to himself that he couldn't. Something about the tower being hard to reach, but I'm not sure why that is. Wow. Bro just teleported across the fucking nation. Sandtime, perhaps? It's definitely Sandtime, yeah. Which is interesting because teleportation would probably bypass Sandtime, wouldn't it? Because Sandtime is a particular distortion of space-time, which means that even Clint's teleportation can't bypass that space-time, so it's not probably like I don't think he's like instantly teleporting, you know what I mean? Maybe he's literally just traveling really fucking fast, I don't know. Remember that time in EX4 when Clint said to Wilhelm that he could become invisible as a joke? Yes, I do. It's like a spatial interference. Yeah, but like you would only get hit by that spatial interference if you had to go through it, you know what I mean? Which means that Clint's authority, technically he's going through it instead of ending up on the other side of it. Does Amelia and the others know about Subaru's authorities? Some of them know he has authorities, but Amelia is dumb as rocks, so probably no. I don't think Amelia knows how to like put on her shoes, to be honest with you. Clint equals pride? Why would pride mean teleporting across the nation? Flugel could place protection against such powers. Didn't read ignore gluttony. I don't know if I... Ignore gluttony? I think every time Subaru has told people about authorities, he's died. No, that's just Return by Death. Return by Death is the only one that has that contract. He could probably freely talk about invisible providence. And read him let Amelia go through. Well, we're not sure if that was ignoring gluttony or if that was a tower, like a tower rule, you know what I mean? That was something that should have been explained in the text probably, but it wasn't, lol. I'm not exactly sure how... But that mean tower ignores witch factors? But why would the tower ignore witch factors when it has a giant door that's dependent on witch factors? And also, it can't ignore witch factors because Return by Death was being used the entire time. And Amelia's name got eaten by Lei. So the Chosen One can go through? Well, Lei was using his authority the entire time. Oh, man. Okay. Dude. I'm just like... I'm just so fucking confused. Why something as important as a literal extra authority is just in a side story. Okay. I can't imagine him lying to you, so it must be true. Talking about Clint, who had just disappeared, Roswell let out a long sigh. Noticing his behavior, Anne Rose pursed her lips and called out to him considerately. Uncle, are you sure about this? I thought you weren't going to object to my decisions. I'm not objecting, I'm just confirming. To you, magic is a very important thing. A very, very important thing. True, and that's why. With Anna Rose's large eyes gazing at him, Roswell gave a small, wry smile. Clutching his chest, he bore the pain of being sliced up. He had a goal to fulfill, a person he wanted to see. For that, he would sacrifice anything. Even if it was the blessing he had received from that very person? Even if that... wait, okay. Uncle, please don't get too lost in your thoughts. It's the opposite, Anna Rose. I have no reason not to be lost in my thoughts. Roswell shook his head at the younger girl's sympathy. He knew she meant well by warning him, but he could never heed it. That was the path that Roswell Mathers had chosen. What the fuck? Okay. Man, ReZero's side stories are so annoying. What the fuck, dude? Al's entire powers explained in her side story. Fucking... oh, by the way, there's another authority and some fucking guy has it, by the way, just so you know. Oh my god. The entire concept of the observers is like literally only introduced in fucking... I think it's briefly mentioned in EX3, but like the one that it's heavily emphasized in is not even novelized. Does it mean that Roswell's a Sage candidate? He's definitely not affected by the authority? I don't think that's what being a Sage candidate means. Roswell gave a wry smile. Clutching his chest, he bore the pain of being sliced up. Is he giving his ode? Like, wait. Even if it was the blessing he had received from that very person, what does that mean? Am I dumb? What is this referring to? Echidna, yeah. Echidna blessed him with magic. What does that mean? It's like etched into his soul? He traded magic affinity for the authority? Well, I don't... But how do you get rid of your magic knowledge? Like, how do you just suck it out of your body and, like, give it to somebody else? I don't get that. He clutched his chest, he bore the pain of being sliced up. And he was giving Clint 4 magics in return for the use of his authority. But literally the magic of elements? I guess I just don't understand what that means. Like, how do you literally give up the element? Why is his name Clint, not a star? Yeah, that's another thing. That's another important thing that is shoved into a side story, right? Because now we know that, well, we don't know if Stride had an authority, but Stride didn't have a star name, and now Clint doesn't have a star name. I mean, he might have some, I don't know. He might have some name related to something, like an asteroid or some shit. It's his elemental affinity that is damaging to power Clint's authority. But I don't understand how that works. I don't get what that means. I have a big theory that Clint is a spirit. All spirits have a unique speech pattern. I mean, Amelia has a unique speech pattern. Roswell has a unique speech pattern. In an instant, the world changed completely, and they found themselves standing in front of the mansion. They had traveled hundreds of kilometers in a heartbeat. In terms of time, it would have been more than a week's worth of travel, but how was one supposed to react to crossing such a distance in the blink of an eye? For starters, Otto Swin pinched his cheeks to confirm that he wasn't dreaming. Upon feeling the pain, he sighed with the confirmation that this was indeed reality. Well, this much doesn't really surprise me anymore, Otto muttered. You're much bolder now, Otto bro, replied Garfield. Or were you always that way? Ha ha ha, I don't remember what I was like a year ago, so let's say it's both. Hearing Garfield's guffaw in response, even though he had experienced the same thing, made Otto start to think that worrying was pointless. Though even if he were to let go of his immediate worries, it wouldn't necessarily release him from them, and that was due to Otto's current position. Anyway, now that we've established that the strange occurrence was a strange occurrence, could we now hear the details? I'm terribly sorry, but it's forbidden to speak of, answered the chief steward. All I can say is that it's not easy to do, and that it's not dangerous, rest assured. Otto nodded reluctantly at Clint's words. I see. He knew that Clint was an ally, but he was still a mysterious character. He was apparently an old friend of Roswell, as well as the person who taught Frederica her skills as a servant. He had also taught Super how to use a whip and was a key figure in Petra's education. In other words, he was a key support character for the entire Amelia camp. I didn't expect to jump from Pristella to the mansion in one go, commented Garfield. Is this the door crossing for that Beatrice used before? No, it's fundamentally different from the yin magic that Miss Beatrice uses, explained Clint. Very different. Please refrain from asking about the details. Forgive me. Wait, Stride had authority, right? We don't know, but probably not. Considering we don't... I don't think Pride's witch factor was ever retrieved from Pristella, was it? You don't sound like you're trying to hide it, though, muttered Otto. My apologies. Otto gave up on trying to get an answer, seeing as he was clearly not budging, as always. What's important isn't the teleportation. There's no other way of naming that phenomenon. But the reason why Clint brought us back to Roswell Manor using such drastic means, thought Otto. Mr. Nautsky and Miss Rem were flunked of Lakian Empire, huh? Garfield answered with silence as his gaze hardened. Stride's ability to negate divine protection seems like more like an authority. That wasn't an authority, those were magic circles that somehow magically negated divine protections. Garfield answered with silence as his gaze hardened. The lighthearted atmosphere from moments ago vanished, and in his place stood a tiger ready to pounce. I knew I should have stuck by him. It was a group decision. People were needed for the restoration of Pristella, and your power was needed for the witch's remains. To find the witch's remains. But still, snapping his fangs, Garfield still regretted not traveling with Subaru's group, but after much discussion, it had been agreed upon by everyone that this would be the best. If he were to push the argument, one could say it was because Otto couldn't be left behind healing in the Water City by himself. Meaning the fault lied with Otto receiving his wound. How did he tame Valgren, though? Ring. Cool ring. He wasn't trying to evade taking the blame. It was just that there was no end to the excuses that could be created. You could say it would have been better if Mr. Natsuki hadn't been flung away. Ain't that putting too much fault on the captain? I think so too. That's why thinking about who to blame is meaningless. Well, Ran would probably blame Subaru mercilessly either way. Despite only knowing Ram for a year, Otto knew that while she might say such things out loud, she would never seriously think that. In any case, thought Otto, everyone involved in the camp most likely lament their lack of power, either because they have a strong sense of responsibility or they're underestimating themselves. The only ones with a reasonable evaluation of themselves would be me and Petra, Otto reflected aloud. Huh? Asked Garfield. Oh, it's nothing. In terms of underestimating themselves, Garfield was no exception, though his experience in Pristella seemed to have forced him out of it more or less. In any case, Clind, have Lady Amelia and the others already arrived? Asked Otto. Yes, they have already returned, replied Clind. All arrived. They are waiting for you two to return. Long-awaited arrival. Long-awaited arrival feels like stretching the truth, but understood. The place they were flung to wasn't safe. What was important now was to combine everyone's knowledge and personal connections and figure out how they were going to get Subaru and Rem back. However, thought Otto, it would have been better had they been flung to the north or west. Why did they have to be sent to the country with the most enemies? That sounds like the captain, though. It sounds like the Father King's trial of Margarisa. Garfield seemed to feel the same frustration as Otto. From Otto's long experience as a traveling merchant, the Valachian Empire was considered the most difficult to deal with out of the four great countries, though the Holy Kingdom of Casteco was a close second. Even so, we might be able to talk things through in the frontiers of the Holy Kingdom, unlike the totally strict Empire. I thought Wallachia was the only no-chill, but even Casteco? Yeah, Casteco sounds like a little fucked up, I'm not gonna lie to you. Otto, bro, you're quite knowledgeable about this, huh? If the borders weren't closed, then I'd be selling oil in the Holy Kingdom right about now. With the borders closed due to the recently announced royal selection, Otto's plans to travel to the Holy Kingdom ended. If not for that, he wouldn't be working with almost no rest in the Amelia camp. Life is such a strange thing, he thought. And he didn't want to lose Subaru, who had started him on this strange fate. Anyway, Lady Amelia and Beatrice are probably fretting themselves. Shall we join them? No need to worry, Otto, bro. My amazing self ain't gonna be much help coming up with a plan, but I'll be very useful for breaking into the Empire. I'll try my best so it doesn't come to that. Otto felt bad for the pumped-up Garfield, but he had no intention of creating an international incident. In any case, they wouldn't want the royal selection to be impeded, and if it came to that, even Subaru would be crushed under the responsibility, and if Subaru fell, then the possibility of Otto being crushed was high as well. If only I could flee before that happens, he thought, but I stopped trying to run away from my problems a long time ago. The time when he would give in to his fears was when he viewed the boy snickering next to him as a ferocious opponent, and not the friend and brother he was today. Ever since then, Otto had never thought about running away from his fears. Okay. Julius, do you think you could learn the magic the monocled butler Clind, I think it was, used? I'm terribly sorry, but using yin magic is reliant on Ness's growth. Don't take it seriously. Even I know it ain't easy to learn. Anastasia Hoshin lightly brushed off the concern of her proper, serious knight standing beside her and reflected on her action. I made him needlessly concerned once again, she thought. Ever since they had reaffirmed their master-knight relationship at the Pleiades watchtower, their interactions remained awkward. It couldn't be helped, though, as his memories had yet to return. It's because you didn't like that you hid yourself within me, Echidna interrupted. Easy to understand. You don't have to say that each time, you naughty girl, Anastasia responded to the invasion of her inner thoughts, sticking out her tongue at the scarf. It wasn't a figure of speech, it was actually directed at her scarf. Her white fur scarf was in fact an artificial spirit, Anastasia's long-time companion, Echidna. Anastasia was prone to pout at Echidna's jabs, but due to her absence, Anastasia had to hear about how much hardship they had gone through. She didn't have much room to respond. On top of that, all the hardship amounted to nothing in the end because of her, which was also a reason that she couldn't talk back. You didn't come out so that the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony's authority wouldn't affect you, Echidna commented. And it didn't accomplish anything because I couldn't handle it. I really have no patience. Anastasia rested her hand on her cheek and sighed at her own failings. Fuck. That's not true at all, Julius called out. The handsome knight took issue with Anastasia's self-admonition. At that time, your voice was the one thing I needed to push forward. If you weren't there, my sword would never have reached Reed Estrella. Do you really think that? Replied Anastasia. You ain't just exaggerating things for my sake, are you? I speak only the truth. I swear on my sword and my loyalty. Well, if you're going that far. Julius's yellow eyes pierced deep into Anastasia's blue-green ones. Seeing the unwavering resolve in them and hearing the strength in his words, all of Anastasia's doubts drifted away. What abundant confidence he has in me, though, she thought. We really must have been good together. Was there some kind of spark that started it? The reason I serve you? Yes, I'm a foreign merchant, and you're a true-born knight of the kingdom. Even if you know my motives, I don't understand yours. She did have some knowledge about Julius' circumstances. He was the heir to the house of Jaculius of the kingdom of Lagunica, and a knight of the royal guard. That was clear from his behavior and sword skills, but she didn't understand why someone of such noble birth would reach out to her. There are various reasons, but the main reason is that I saw a ray of hope in your potential. At Julius's completely honest trust and expectations, Anastasia could only stand there, dumbfounded. She believed that he would have a larger and more personal goal in mind, and so, as Anastasia stood there frozen for a moment, Echidna suddenly burst into laughter around her neck. Whoa, Anastasia squeaked in surprise and looked down at her, finding her black eyes looking back. Sorry, said Echidna. It's just that I didn't expect you to answer with something so relatable. Relatable? Parroted Julius. It's nothing special, just something I thought, as someone who has very big expectations for Anna's future. What future? But yes, Anastasia felt like it was similar to how she and Echidna had met. It reminded her of when she had been told something similar by Ricardo when she was a little girl. If it's like that, wouldn't people think that I persuade others the same way each time? Anastasia questioned. What's wrong with that? Echidna replied. Even if you have other means of negotiation at your disposal, if you have a great tool, there's no reason not to use it. I see. Wise words, Julius responded seriously, while Anastasia could only smile wryly. Is that how it is? She said. Echidna was always like that, but she had to question whether or not to let it slide upon seeing Julius's ability to see wisdom in everything. Perhaps if we still had the relationship we had in the past, I wouldn't be worrying about this. I can't say I believed I interacted with you without any trouble, but in order for me to think that way, you've worked to the best of your ability, Lady Anastasia. Cheeky boy, did you read my thoughts? It might have slipped your mind, but I've always been the closest to you. Lifting her hand to her mouth, Anastasia giggled lightly at the knight's behavior. Such a playboy. A lingering concern remained. However, this knight who looked as if he could do anything, and elegantly, firmly kept in mind their master-knight relationship, meaning they could do well together. Handling adversity was one of her strengths, after all. Also, I was able to remember Miss Amelia, so that should mean maybe I'll be able to remember you too, Julius. That would ultimately be the best option, Echidna chimed in. Her and Julius were both hit by Gluttony's authority, though we don't know the means of recovery. There's no need to rush, that's what I think now, and I'm proud of that. Julius smiled, honestly, placing his hand on his chest. Seeing that, Anastasia closed her eyes in acceptance. I see, she said, nodding, and with that, they got an idea of how to re-establish their relationship as master and knight, and the stagnant negotiations were over. Like we said in the tower, we're helping find Natsuki and Miss Rem, Anastasia said. I ain't sure if Miss Amelia remembers, but this third gluttony concerns me. Yes, replied Julius. If they weren't sent to the Empire with Miss Rem and Subaru, then the situation is dire. However, that country is unlikely to listen to us, Echidna added, which begs the question of how we're going to find them. Once they decided on a direction, Anastasia, Julius, and Echidna quickly brainstormed a plan. With all the issues that have been brought up, Anastasia smiled, placing her hand against her white cheek. Even if it came with conditions, Miss Amelia and Natsuki are the reasons we're still here. If we don't repay this debt and just walk away with the product, then my name as a merchant will suffer. Then what shall we do? Asked Julius with closed eyes. Anastasia shrugged as she gave her answer. We'll do what only a merchant could do. Luckily, Anastasia's way with words had just been proven by the other two people there, although, shouldn't it be the person and the animal instead of two people? Asked the scarf around her neck, sticking its tongue out playfully as it danced ticklishly around her neck. Okay. Absolutely fucking insane that you can drop on me that there's another authority in this world, and then, like, we get an entire section of a fox dancing ticklishly on Anastasia's neck. Good lord, man. How many more sections do we have left? Okay, just two. Everyone's working so hard to get that man and Rem back. Melee sat with her elbows on her knees and her face in her palms, uninterested. Within the hurried atmosphere engulfing Roswell Manor, Melee couldn't find any nostalgia in it, even though she had spent a year within those walls. In my case, I spent most of that time as a prisoner. Seeing it all become so lively like this is actually refreshing. The reason Melee met Melee— oh my god, dude. We know. Fuck me. Don't they think I might betray them and go on a rampage? She didn't have any weapons, but Melee never needed them in the first place. Yeah. But Elsa's the last person who'd want revenge for her death. She didn't care the slightest about the afterlife while she was alive, so it was hard to imagine that was changing after her death. In actual fact, Melee had plenty of opportunities to learn about Elsa while she was alive, but she didn't take them, and now she thought that was for the best. Back then, she thought that if she never learned, then she would never go anywhere, but I was taught that that wasn't the case. She was told to find her own path, that there were other people she could follow, but the person who said that had gone far away to where she couldn't follow. Ah, Melee. Oh, at her name being called out, Melee leaned her head back off the edge of the chair she was on. In her upside-down vision, she spotted a familiar, adorable face. It was the girl who had visited her along with Subaru and Amelia while she was a prisoner. Tape recaps the details as a reminder for himself, yeah. Petra, how have you been? I've been doing good. It's good to see that you're doing good as well. I was so worried. After Subaru, Amelia, and Beatrice, right? Don't say that. I don't have rankings, but I'm worried about people. Pouting with reddened cheeks, Petra put her hands on her hips in protest. Giggling at her response, Melee straightened herself on her chair to face Petra properly. Even from this angle, Petra looked the same as when she saw Melee off. Of course, it had only been 20 days, so not much could change. Normally, though, it would have taken the same amount of time to get back, but you came with Clint, right? What kind of magic was it? Who knows? I am not being secretive. I really don't know what it was. He just came, talked to the others for a bit, then both dragon carriages were sent here. It must be yin magic. I don't want to, but I'll ask the master about it later. Hearing Melee's strange experience brought out Petra's burning passion for knowledge. I've heard that Petra has been improving rapidly in various fields with each passing day, and that her interest and talent is being directed at magic. So much so that people have high hopes that she will eventually unravel the mystery of that butler called Clint's magic. But in any case, Petra, you don't seem to be that torn up about Subaru. Petra, stay away from him. It's not safe. It's not safe. What are you saying? I'm very worried and angry too. Melee gave her honest opinion, but Petra responded by giving an angry smile. Melee lost the ability to form words upon seeing that. Indeed, Melee was mistaken. Petra was very angry. But the girl in front of her wasn't just releasing suppressed emotions. She was capable of using terrifying methods that Melee couldn't even imagine to relieve her rage. 1 year ago, while Melee was still being treated as a prisoner, Petra spoke some words that still made Melee shiver to her bones even to this day. Melee had just attacked the mansion and put even Petra's life in danger. Yet, when Petra had walked up to where she was in prison, she declared this: "I'm gonna get you to like me no matter what. Then you won't think of anything scary like killing, right? Relax, I won't bite." And after that, Petra did in fact become friendlier with her. Even though she was aware that Petra could perform such calculated acts of self-interest, Melee felt an honest goodwill towards her instead of disgust, thus, sorry. Why are you apologizing, Melee? You did your job correctly. You saved them when they were surrounded by witch beasts. That's true, but I couldn't save Subaru. Those words were not born from fear of Petra, but were Melee's honest regrets. Petra calmed her rage as she empathized with Melee's remorse. Thank you for apologizing, and sorry for making you apologize. I'm the worst. Since I couldn't even go with everyone. That's why next time I'll definitely go, I swear it. Well, I don't know if you should. Feeling that strength in her words and her eyes, Melee went wide-eyed, then laughed as all the tension left her body. Subaru's a lucky man, she smirked. He has so many people who care so much for him, from you to Emilia to Beatrice. Yeah, oh, but I care about you too, you know? Yeah. It was just a side statement, but Melee didn't mind it. She had been taken in by Petra's innocent charm. And it seemed like she was completely under her spell, and it probably wasn't just her either. I can't go with them to search for Subaru. I know, I heard. You're going with Clint and Miss Anaros to the capital, right? Oh? There we have to talk about how to cross that desert. Oh shit. Wait. They're going to the capital? To talk about how to cross the desert. This is good, because I'm glad that the tower wasn't forgotten. Like, the tower is a huge deal. And obviously it's gonna play a part of, like, national politics now, probably, right? Damn. Originally, the Agria sand dunes were said to be impossible to cross, and the Pleiades watchtower behind them was impossible to reach, but now with the reason for the sand dunes hostility, the sage Shala and her duty gone, it was possible to enter. The trials that Emilia undertook also cleared out the sandstorm that surrounded the tower. With that, there was very little left to defend the books of the tower, or the books of the dead that the tower held. Desert is spelled wrong? Yeah. Well, there seems to be a thing when Melee talks. There's like an extra letter sometimes. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but yeah. And so, thought Petra, the only thing stopping the abuse of the Pleiades watchtower is the divine dragon that Emilia befriended in Melee. Okay, so everyone knows that the dragon is there. Got it. When you say it like that, it sounded too much like Emilia. Even the massive, intimidating divine dragon grew meek in the face of Emilia. Regardless of what Emilia thought, Petra's statement wasn't wrong. And right now, the only thing protecting the Pleiades watchtower were the divine dragon living there and the witch beast that lived in the Agria sand dunes, and both of those things the Emilia camp could handle. I feel like I'm being forced into this group as atonement, Melee whined. Why are you bringing that up now? Petra, that face is scaring me, please stop that. She looked as if everything had gone according to plan, or at least, that she had stated the obvious. However, it was still the role assigned to Melee. In order to fulfill her promise with Super and Emilia, Melee had to cooperate with them as well. Melee, will you be okay? Petra asked. Clint is a really kind person, but he's got his own demons, so be careful. Melee has her creep dial, like, calibrated correctly, so that's good. Thanks for increasing my anxiety, but relax. I won't be alone, right? Closing an eye, Melee shook the hood of the robe she was wearing. Eh? Exclaimed Petra, her eyes going wide as a shadowy figure jumped out. Using its multiple legs, the crimson scorpion crawled up on Melee's shoulder until resting on her head. Dude, isn't it crazy how... I literally fucking forgot about this until just now. Like, I didn't, like, forget. Like, I knew there was a scorpion, but, like, the scorpion didn't even cross my mind until just now. I didn't think even once. I wonder where the scorpion is. My bodyguard. Her name is, well, I haven't decided on a name yet. For now, she's Miss Crimson Scorpion. Crimson Scorpion. Repeating the name under her breath, Petra stared at the scorpion. At her gaze, it raised its small body to make it look bigger and snapped its pincers. It wasn't obvious whether it was an act of intimidation to protect Melee or not, but take care of Melee, Miss Crimson Scorpion, she said. Pinching that little pincer with her fingers, Petra did something like a handshake. The scorpion appeared to acknowledge her gesture by waving its tail as if it was satisfied, and so, let's both do our job, said Melee. That's what's best for us. Yes, that's right, replied Petra, and once Subaru comes back, let's talk about it together. Yeah, that's right. I have a lot of things I want to talk to him about, too. Melee smiled gently as she answered Petra's declaration, but as Petra heard that, she tilted her head to the side. Huh, it's like, I'm curious about your reaction. What about it? I don't know. Did you happen to see Subaru's cool side? Hearing Petra say that in such a timid manner, Melee's eyes went wide. She wanted to say not at all, but she hesitated before she could say it. Part of it was because she wanted to get back at Petra, but there was also hesitation around what happened at the Pleiades watchtower. In any case, you're such a worrywart, Petra. The scorpion on top of Melee's head snapped its pincers again, though whether in confirmation or denial it was unclear, and it only increased the worry that Petra felt. Okay, so they're going to the tower. So, okay. Oh, man. So they're going to the capital to talk about the tower. That's very interesting. Very cool. Unironically. I'm assuming we're not going to see that for a while, but I'm excited. Sounds cool. Hello, Roishin. Just so you know, this will contain some Arc 7 spoilers, so be careful. Okay, final section. My throat is starting to hurt, so I'm hoping to get this over with. Come back to this plot point in like 2 years yet, probably. And so, the many allies gathered to rescue Subaru Natsuki formed their resolve. Everyone knew Subaru's judgment and bravery, along with his ability to succeed at the last moment, but at the same time, they also knew of his recklessness, so their resolve was important. And amongst them, the one who worried the most about Subaru was... Lady Amelia, please calm down. It's really obvious that I'm not calm, isn't it? Placing her head on her chest, Amelia smiled and looked to her side. In her amethyst eyes, Ram, who had traveled with her on her journey, straightened herself. Seeing Ram compose herself... Oh shit. Oh, Roishin going bronze, dude? Let's go. Amelia realized that she had to collect herself as well. Ram's probably worried a lot about Subaru too. On top of that, it wasn't only him that disappeared from the Pleiades watchtower, but Rem too. You must be all anxious too with Subaru and Rem missing. Disregarding Barusu, Ram is worried about Rem, disregarding Barusu. You don't have to repeat yourself, I suppose. Betty's worried enough about Subaru, but she will worry for him in your place too. Oh god, I forgot it does that. We have to believe that those two are okay, in fact. Beatrice responded naturally to Ram's tough front. Keep up the great work, thank you. Linking hands with Amelia, Beatrice's expression was dark with worry. That was because she was worried about Subaru's condition, but there was another reason. I'll hop out to avoid spoilers, so have fun. Thank you, have fun. Doing whatever you're doing. Playing Xenoblade or some shit. With Subaru being missing, Beatrice was running low on mana. Miss Beatrice, how's your body? Ram asked. Betty's getting by conserving energy, I suppose. You're supposed to be tired, though. Ram is going to jump into Master Roswell's arms later tonight. Betty can't understand your tasteless behavior, I suppose. Ram could say the same to you. No, to the both of you. Eh, me too. Why? Amelia spoke up at suddenly being involved in Ram and Beatrice's back and forth. However, the two of them didn't give a response. And with that, the relaxed atmosphere that had formed between them disappeared the next moment. The moment the three of them, who had returned to the mansion, reached the door to Roswell's room. Aw, more Roswell, dude? Let's go! We managed to gather everyone extremely fast thanks to Clint, but we still have to hurry. They had sent the letter to Roswell via carrier bird and were preparing to return from Miriala when Clint appeared, which had surprised them. But they were more surprised by the teleportation afterward. But thanks to them, they were able to return sooner. However, since they couldn't use the same method to travel to the country where Subaru was, they had to find another method. Okay, so I know it was mentioned that the power could only be used in the Gunica, so for some reason, Clint's authority cannot go to Wallachia if it's a distance thing, but it doesn't sound like it because the specific language has to be used within the nation. So, very particular wording on that. Roswell were coming in. Calling out, Amelia grasped Beatrice's hand and entered the room with Ram following behind. Amelia's group was the last to arrive, with everyone else already gathered ahead of them. There was Frederica, who had protected the mansion in their absence, and Clint, who was the main reason everyone could gather so quickly. Otto and Garfield, who they had separated from at the Watergate City Prostella, and who had managed to return to the mansion safely. There was Anastasia and Julius and Echidna, who had returned with them from the Pleiades watchtower and promised to help them search for the missing Subaru and Rem. Do you remember the details of the Kingdom's covenant with Volcanica? Yeah? There was Anastasia and Julius and Echidna who had returned with them from the Pleiades watchtower and promised to help them search for the missing Subaru and Rem. And there was also Melee with a crimson scorpion resting on her head and Petra next to her, who was looking on with a serious look, and at the back was Roswell sitting proudly at an ebony desk. Thank you for gathering, everyone. Feeling all eyes on her, Amelia felt her hand being tightly grasped by Beatrice's. She squeezed in return and faced everyone directly. She knew that everyone was of the same mind, so she urged her anxious heart to be good and not cause her to lie or overthink things. No matter what, we'll find Subaru and Rem, who were flung away. And so she called out to everyone, hoping to be reunited with her lost knight. Pog. We did it, chat. Stand by me, Pleiades. I believe there was some sort of barrier thing Volcanica has over Lagunica. I don't think it's a literal barrier, is it? I'm pretty sure it's just like if something happens within the borders, he knows. Wow. Okay, chat. I'm gonna go take a piss, and then we'll talk about Stand By Me Pleiades, and then we can do a little chat about anything, and then I'm getting off for today. So I'll be back, alright? Have fun. J-Dog, you can take that back. J-Dog, you can take that shit back. I saw it. J-Dog, I saw that shit. Just so you know. Anyway. So, Stand By Me Pleiades. Cool story. Decently important for Clint having an authority alone. Are you planning to read the summaries for the rest? Not at the moment, no. And damn. It's definitely not pride. So it's probably melancholy, right? And then we now know that the whole squad is rolling up to Valakia. Which, obviously I knew that some people were going to show up. But that's a lot of people. Oh my god, dude. Roswell's going to be in Arc 7. Maybe Arc 8. Oh, that's so fucking gas. That's so fucking gas. Oh, man. And, let me think more, okay. I'm gonna get to see my son Garfield again. That'll be cool. I've already been spoiled on that one, though. Did Hori actually take another break? Do you need help? Yeah, you did. Another sudden break. Not a 2-week break, though. Okay, so we're gonna see Roswell. That's fucking gas. In Arc 7 or Arc 8. Garfield's coming. That's gas. Sounds like Julius is trying to come, which is going to be interesting, considering Madeline is there. I mean, it's not like she knows that Julius killed Balroy, at least yet. Amelia's fine too, I guess. Malian. Well, Melee is gonna go to the capital, I guess, which is crazy. Clint stuff is not at all necessary for Arc 7. It's not about being necessary for Arc 7, it's just like the Clint stuff should just be in the story. I don't think YouTube viewers know this, but I got spoiled on something for Arc 7 because I woke up and sometimes when I wake up I open up YouTube Studio just to see what's going on, you know? Very first comment at the very top, okay? Plastered on the very fucking top of the screen. This is a spoiler, I guess, if for some reason somebody's not as far, or like, as far as I am. Take off your headphones real quick. I know about Garfield versus Olbart. Because some asshole went to like the Phase 2 YouTube video and talked about it. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, come on, dude, what the fuck? That douche, yeah. I don't know why you would do that. But it happened, so. Petra's gonna go to Valakia and get beheaded. I don't know what she's gonna do. I don't know what her plan is there. She got that dog in her, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's not a massive spoiler, so like I'm not like super pissed off about it, but it sucks that it happened. Would have been cool to like, you know, not be spoiled. That would have been cool. Holy shit, I'm almost at 8,000 subscribers, dude. Let's go. Stand By Me Pleiades was cool. A lot of it was unironically recap, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, it was cool. Is that Darkest Dungeon playing there? Yes. Darkest Dungeon OST has been playing. It just plays into the side story issues. Yeah, it does. I can't wait till that stops. Lol. Woke will Albor have his arm back. He's gonna be giving Garfield the business with one arm. It's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited for more ReZero. I'm so excited for more ReZero, bro. Thoughts on Clind? His character went from 100% being a pedophile to like 70% being a pedophile, so we take what we can get. He went from F tier to D tier. Tape on his way to defeat Pandora in a side story, yeah. How much left on the Phase 4 video? A lot. I only did so much work on it, but then I had to pivot to doing, the Globe video, because I needed something out on Sunday. Thoughts on Chaos Flame? Chaos Flame might be my favorite section of Arc 7 so far. I'm not gonna lie to you. Second favorite being the initial Goral loops with Todd. That shit was fucking gas. But I loved Chaos Flame. Except for Tanza. And I've talked to a few people now, and they said that Chaos Flame was some of their least favorite. Some of their least favorite content. Arc 7 will be much more of a challenge to animate. Too many new locations and characters. Yeah, that's not the only problem. When half of the fucking setup for Arc 7 is in side stories. But I'm excited to talk a lot more about Chaos Flame in the Phase 4 video. And obviously Phase 5 as well. For half of it at least. Phase 7 is the low point. I've been told every single phase people tell me is the low point. Like literally every single phase I read someone says it's the low point. And every single phase I read, it's not the low point. Well, I guess Phase 4 was technically the low point for me, but it was still good. Thoughts on Pride, Melancholy, and Hector? Pride, I don't think anybody is Pride. Melancholy, yeah, that's definitely Clint, right? Favorite ReZero arc? 4 and 6. I was gonna say something and I totally forgot. I totally forgot. Al might be Pride. I don't think Al is Pride. I think it's more likely that there are two envy factors than Al being Pride. Echidna, Petaljuice, and Louise said that the witch factors have reached. Did they say that? I don't remember that. When was that? I really don't remember. How do you think time flows between the world of ReZero and time on Earth? Much different, considering Flugel was isekai'd at least 400 years ago and it was aware of a fucking Google Home. So, I know what you are, Najee. Arc 3, 4, and 6? I guess I just don't remember it then. Well, I've only read 6, obviously, but I don't remember that part. But I still don't think Alice Pride. My current Arc 7 phase ranking is a standard. It was initially 1, 2, 3, 4. Like the score lowering each phase. But now it's like 1, 5, 2, 3, 4. Dude, 1 was just so fucking good, man. I don't think anyone apart from Stella is Envy. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if an Envy auth doesn't actually exist. Why? Isn't it, like, explicit that Subaru's like, that's an Envy factor, is it not? Because he has Envy, and he had Sloth, and he has Greed, and didn't 3 lights appear on the door in Arc 6? There's 100% going to be someone else with Envy. And by someone else, you mean, like, an additional person, right? You're not saying that Subaru doesn't have Envy? Do you think Satella has 2 authorities, 1 for each personality? I don't know, maybe. But serious, I think I wouldn't be surprised if that was already Al. Because he also had Gluttony at one point? Oh, that's true, you're right, yeah. It's just an authority with not specific. I know that Subaru's authority is not explicitly said to be Envy's, but, like, I feel like we can infer that. Any thoughts on leaper techniques? Not a single one. Not gonna lie to you. Did we? I don't remember. In Arc 6, did we ever get an explicit confirmation on why there are multiple gluttony factors? I cannot remember if there was a reason why. Hector has an authority, yeah? Had. Rip Bozo. What do you think will happen to the archbishops that have been captured? Sirius will definitely escape. There's like no question about that, and you could probably infer that Roy would as well. Because Roy needs to do something. Good lord, he is undercooked. I think it'd be more likely Envy is split between Al and Subaru. I agree completely, yes. I really do not think Al is Pride. Roy came out the oven frozen. Roy ate his own name. He accidentally ate his whole name. Roy came into the story, tried to eat a guy, fucking failed and got his body taken over, and then got arrested. He went to prison. What was he cooking? While Gluttony has the same authority? Yeah. That's true. I know you don't see the Arc 7 Luis vision, but do you have any theories? My only idea, which I said earlier, which is probably not... probably not true at all. It's like the only thing I can think of. Like, I've seen people say that she has Rem's memories and, like, she's acting as Rem. I don't think that's true. But, like, my alternative's not any better. My idea was that, like, she knew about the contract of Return by Death. And since Satella came out to fuck shit up, she, wiped her hard drive, deleted her brain. Satella Louise, yeah. You got it. So in the camp of Louise has Rem's memories, nothing to disprove it. It's not about disproving, I just don't think it'd be a very satisfying conclusion if the entire time she was just Rem too. I just think that'd be kind of boring. There was the old theory where she was basically just a body for the Green Room spirit. Yeah, but that was cut from the light novel, wasn't it? So, rip. I hope Rem stays the same. Dude, current Rem is based. Based in Rem Pill. I enjoy current Rem a lot. And Satella is Roy. Good and evil and right and wrong is bullshit. It's definitely pride-related talk. I don't agree with that. Yeah, don't worry guys, the Black Serpent will appear in Arc 8 to solve the war. To solve the Civil War, the Black Serpent will show up and do nothing. Yes, Queen, give us nothing. Current Rem is just silly goofy, okay? She didn't mean to. Louise equals Regulus equals Pride. Real. Truest shit I ever done seen, bro. Alright, well, it's been 2 hours. I think we're chilling now. Thanks all for coming out. I'm glad I got to do another ReZero stream finally. It was fun. Had a good time. all the ReZero fans in here, I'm assuming a bunch of you aren't subscribed yet. So what that means is you should all go and watch my Globehead video, okay? And subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, because there's a lot more ReZero content coming. Because Season 3 will be coming in approximately 6 years. Huge. And follow me on Twitter if you haven't already, because I actually started tweeting about ReZero. I'm finally doing it. There's some things I can't tweet about, because I know people are going to be fucking annoying, so... like, I would love to tweet out my Arc 7 predictions, but I know there's going to be, like, people who are, like, confirming or denying them in the replies. That's annoying. And join the Discord, okay? It's objectively the best ReZero Discord that exists, okay? And also I live blog in there, so that's fun. I'll be reading Sword Identity at some point in the Discord. We will finally decide if it's mid or good. Sword Identity likely will not be included in the Phase 5 video, just reading it on my own time, because the Phase 5 video is looking immense in terms of the amount of notes I've taken, so really not trying to make that shit any bigger. But we'll see. Thanks for coming out, guys. Sorry, Small Ryan, you just came at the worst time possible. Goodbye, chat.